I don't even know where to start with this. I've been sitting on my couch for the last hour, staring at the chipped paint on our living room wall, trying to figure out how to put this into words without sounding like a complete jerk. I'm not perfect, far from it, but I'm at my wit's end, and I need to get this off my chest. I'm sorry if this is long and rambly, but I'm just drained. This is about me, 32mm, my wife, 30F, and a situation that's been building for years but finally snapped last week when I had to dip into our emergency fund to cover rent. Again. We've been married for 5 years, together for 8. I love my wife. I do. She's funny, she's warm, she's the kind of person who'll cry at a dog food commercial but laugh it off like it's nothing. When we met, she was this whirlwind of energy, always planning little adventures, dragging me to hole-in-the-wall restaurants or midnight stargazing in the middle of nowhere. I'm more of a planner, let's make sure the bills are paid before we book a weekend trip kind of guy. We balanced each other out, or at least I thought we did. The problem started creeping in a couple of years after we got married. Money. It's always money, isn't it? Not that we're broke. Well, not broke, but we're not exactly rolling in it either. I work as a project coordinator for a mid-sized construction firm, and she's a freelance graphic designer. My job's steady, pays decently, benefits are solid. Her work, it's feast or famine. Some months she's pulling in thousands, others she's scraping by with a single logo project for some Etsy shop. I don't mind the inconsistency. It's part of the gig, and she's talented as hell. What I do mind is her, let's call it casual approach to managing it. When we moved in together, we agreed to split the bills 50-50. Rent, utilities, groceries, everything gets divided down the middle. It made sense at the time. We were both making about the same. But over the years, her income's been less predictable, and instead of adjusting our system, she just doesn't pay her share sometimes. Not because she's malicious or anything, but because she forgets or thought she had it covered. The first time it happened, maybe 3 years ago, she missed her half of the rent. I got a text from our landlord saying the payment was short, and when I asked her about it, she got this deer-in-headlights look and said, "Oh crap, I thought I sent it." She apologized, promised to Venmo me her share, and I covered it. No big deal, right? Mistakes happen, except it kept happening. Not every month, but enough that I started noticing a pattern. She'd forget to pay the electric bill, or she'd miscalculate her bank balance and spend her rent money on a new tablet for her design work. I'd cover it, she'd promise to pay me back, and then nothing. I'd remind her, she'd get defensive, and we'd have this awkward dance where I felt like the bad guy for asking. I started keeping a mental tally, and by last year, I'd covered her share of rent at least 6 times. That's not even counting utilities or the time she borrowed $200 for a client dinner and never mentioned it again. I tried talking to her about it. Multiple times. I'd sit her down, all calm and reasonable, and say, "Hey, we need to figure out a better system for the bills." She'd nod, say she'd do better, maybe cry a little and talk about how stressed she is with her work. I'd feel like an asshole and drop it. Rinse, repeat. I even suggested we pool our money into a joint account for bills, but she shot that down, saying she likes her independence. Fair enough, I guess, but independence doesn't pay the damn rent, eh? Fast forward to last week. Rent's due on the 1st, like always. I send my half to the landlord through Zelle, same as every month. On the 3rd, I get a text from him. "Hey, still waiting on the other half. Can you follow up?" My stomach sank. I knew exactly what happened. I checked my wife's desk calendar, She's old school, loves her paper planners. And sure enough, there's a big red circle around rent due with no check mark or anything. I asked her about it when she got home, and she did the thing. The wide eyes, the, "Oh no, I totally forgot." I'm not proud of it, but I snapped. I didn't yell, but my voice was sharp. "How do you forget again? This is the third time this year, Sarah." She got quiet, then started crying. Said she's been overwhelmed with a big project and didn't realize her account was low. I asked how low, and she admitted she only had $300 in her checking account. Our rent is $2,400 total, so her half is $200. She didn't have it. Again. I told her I'd cover it, but I was pissed. I had to pull the money from our emergency fund. Our emergency fund, which we'd built up to cover actual emergencies, like if one of us lost a job or the car broke down. Not to cover rent because she forgot. That night, I couldn't sleep. I just kept staring at the ceiling, replaying every time this has happened. It's not just the money, you know. It's the feeling that I'm carrying the weight of both of us while she gets to play the carefree artist. I'm not saying her job isn't hard. It is. But so is mine. And I don't get to forget my responsibilities because I'm stressed. I started thinking about all the little things that add up. How I'm always the one who budgets for groceries. How I'm the one who notices when we're low on toilet paper or pays the internet bill early so we don't get a late fee. It's like I'm managing two people's lives and I'm tired. The next morning I told her we needed to talk. Really talk. No crying, no excuses. Just figure this out. She agreed, but I could tell she was bracing for a fight. I laid it all out. The missed payments, the emergency fund, how I feel like I'm parenting her instead of partnering with her. I told her I'm starting to resent her, and that scared me because I don't want to feel that way. She listened mostly. Said she feels like I'm always judging her, like I think she's a failure because her career isn't as stable as mine. That hurt, because I don't think that at all. I'm proud of her work. But I also don't think it's fair that her stress gets to be an excuse while mine doesn't. We talked for maybe an hour, and by the end we agreed to try a new system. She's going to set up auto payments for her half of the bills, and we're going to check in every month to make sure we're on track. She also promised to pay back the emergency fund, $100 a month, starting next month. I want to believe it'll work, but I'm skeptical. We've been here before, and promises don't always stick. Here's where I'm at now. I love her, but I'm starting to wonder if love is enough. I don't want to be the guy who's keeping score in a marriage, but I also don't want to be the guy who's quietly bankrolling someone else's irresponsibility. I look at our friends, other couples in their 30s, and they seem to have it together. Or at least they're on the same page. I don't know if I'm being too hard on her, or if I'm justified in feeling this way. I keep thinking about what happens if this doesn't change. 5 years from now, will I still be dipping into savings to cover her share? What if we have kids? Can I trust her to handle that kind of responsibility? I guess I'm posting here because I need perspective. Am I overreacting? Is this just a rough patch, or is this a sign of deeper issues? Has anyone else dealt with a partner who's great in every way except when it comes to money? How do you make it work without turning into roommates who split the bills, or don't? I don't want to give up on us, but I'm so tired of feeling like the only adult in the room. TLDR. My wife keeps forgetting to pay her share of the rent and bills, and I had to use our emergency fund to cover it again. I'm frustrated, resentful, and starting to question our partnership. We're trying a new system, but I'm not sure it'll fix things. Need advice on how to move forward without losing my mind or my marriage.